Okay. It's Old Man G here, back to you again with another video for Red Devil Studio. It's been quite a slow last couple of days. So I didn't post a video yesterday, and we're still waiting for the official announcement from Manchester United of Aaron Wan-Bissaka. I don't really understand why it's taking so long to announce. It's all been leaked. I tweet about it. It just doesn't make sense. I don't know whoever's in charge of Manchester United branding, social media policy. It just needs to get their head screwed on because it's ridiculous. But anyway, I'm not here to talk about. Oh, speaking of the devil, it's just been announced. Just as I'm recording this, it's literally just been announced. No surprises there. And obviously, it's the 29th of June, and he's wearing number 29. So, yeah, I get the cheese. Yeah, right, fine. Okay, so we'll actually post another video up after this one, just confirming that announcement. But anyway, what I'm going to discuss about to dissect on a Red Devil Studio debate is: do you think that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is going to be a success at Manchester United? Um, Ole obviously took over from Jose Mourinho halfway through last season. We were in a quite disgruntled, and initially he was just supposed to be a caretaker, with our aim being to give a permanent success and make that decision at the end of the season. What I think most of us didn't expect was just how good, at least for the first 15, 16 games, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was. The team was completely different, played attacking football. It was like a completely different team. You know, we went into that PSG game. I think that was the highlight with a 1-0 deficit at home, and we come back and win that game 3-1 and go to the quarterfinals of the Champions League, which I haven't been in since David Moyes actually took over like 6 years ago. Incredible. And just the fact that you could get such change so quickly, with such positivity, um, it only seemed logical, at least for Edwards at the time, to give him the job. Um, then it seemed that something changed. Whether that was attitudes, disagreements about pay, as we've heard with rumours, or whether it's just fatigue and tiredness, because one of the things Ole Gunnar Solskjaer had repeatedly mentioned was just how the need for more high press training and how he implemented that, which coincided with so many injuries that we're having at the time. Um, I don't blame him for that. Manchester United were persistently seen as one of the slowest or last paced, I think, last kilometers travelled teams in the Premier League. Um, I assume predominantly because of the football that Jose Mourinho was having us play. But you can also argue under Van Gaal and Moyes. To be honest, the last three managers that we had have not really played the quick, fast, counter-attacking football that we like to see in Manchester United, which is part of our identity as a football club. And Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is aware of that, played it, won a Champions League, won the treble, is loved by the fans, and his aim, his job is to try and deliver that again. Um, but anyway, going back to the season, so you know we should really have got top four. Arsenal were bad, kept on losing. Chelsea, to be honest, weren't great. And really, we should have gone top four was ours for the taking. Despite the fact that we were 13 points behind, I think, top four when Jose Mourinho left, 11-13, I think. Um, the circumstances, our win rate, and how bad all other teams are doing, even Tottenham slipping up, we should have gotten top four comfortably, but we didn't, due to the aforementioned things that I mentioned, and we're now in a situation where we're playing Europa League football, which is obviously harm our chances in potential signings, um, but also it puts pressure on Ollie, considerable pressure, because the objective must be to. Well, I put it open to the comments when I put a poll up on Twitter saying what do you think is the objective, really subjective for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer season, and the majority seem to suggest top four at least, so yeah, I would agree with that. I would say top four maybe a domestic trophy like an FA Cup or even a League Cup. Something that shows progress and consistency. But more importantly, the way that we play, the attitude players has got to improve. You know, losing against Cardiff at home and drawing against Huddersfield away in the last two games is not good enough for Manchester United. Not for the salaries that we're paying these players, not for the talent that we have. It's not good enough. And if it's one thing when I see the signs of a manager that's potentially going to be sacked, it's how they deal with the teams at the low end of the table. You know, if you're losing, drawing games with teams that are relegation fodder, near relegation fodder, you know, Newcastle aside, because it's always tough going to St James's Park, then questions have to be asked. And the worst possible thing you can see is that, you know, we start the season and we not only lose to like the Chelsea, Liverpool, City, but you're losing to, you know, Villa. You're losing to, you know, newly promoted sides that are struggling still up in the Premier League. You know, that's the sign of of the direction of a sackable manager. And I want to give Ole Gunnar Solskjaer time. I don't want to give him much time, a lot of time, but if we're in that situation in December, it'll be very, very difficult to see him staying on. Not because I don't want him to. I want him to be really successful, but you know we've got to see how we are. This is the thing. You know, the other thing I would say is that I also think that we also need to. Well, okay. We shouldn't completely collapse. Okay, like if we have a near collapse, we have to rethink things. Obviously, maybe it was a mistake. But if things are at least relatively stable, the other question that we have to also ask is: has Ollie actually been backed in the first place? Okay, right now so far, you know, we've assigned Daniel James and we've signed Anwan Bissaka. Daniel James got potential. Anwan Bissaka still young, also got potential. One good year, Crystal Palace. That's it. Realistically, in order to compete, we need to sign more players. We need to sign a top quality centre back. We need to sign a top quality right wing. We need to sign a top quality defensive midfielder because Matic is slow. We need to help Pogba, etc. So we also have to bear in mind that yes, okay, we don't want to slip down the league, etc., and implode and lose track on top four. But at the same time, we also need to just bear in mind that if Ollie has not been back sufficiently, and I'm hoping now that we've officially announced that Aaron Bissaka has signed, that we will to more good, high quality signings. Because okay, I'll take a bit aside here. Manchester United currently with Sean Longstaff, and I'll post a video about that later. But is Sean Longstaff, who's only played five, six senior games for Newcastle, signing for 25 million? 25 million? A bit much for someone who's only had 5 senior appearances. Is that what we need? Yes, don't get me wrong. If the potential, and this is the key thing, if these potential players come on the play and they blitz it, and we're uncovering like you know the next Ronaldo as it were, then fine, great. That it's a steal, and and it's great for the club because they'll perform well for us, and if the club does eventually want to sell the players, they'll make a profit. Fair enough, okay, but it's a big risk, and United are not in. Liverpool and City can do that. United are not in a situation where we can sign risk players and hope that things will actually sort of improve. We just can't do that. It's just not possible. And I think that we need to there has to be a balance. Okay, there has to be a balance between good quality talent, established good quality talent like a Kalidou Koulibaly, like an Antoine Griezmann, for example, like a Jadon Sancho, those kind of, like, you can see established talent that's there and potential but yet unproven talent. Have that mix, a good mix, great, but if you have too much of one, then you can have problems. So that is the only one of the only things that I can see. Aside from also the other thing is, of course, the other thing I can see. It's my that's my third point. Is Solskjaer's inexperience. You know, he's managed Moldova, he's managed Cardiff, for the gotten relegated. That's his sort of senior experience, and I think that we'll really see how he is as a manager. You know, I'm not expecting him to do multiple hair dry treatments, but clearly this team um, needs to be directed and directed well, and it's just you can see, and you know, this squad is going to have to really get back the trust of fans, because it just looked like for the last couple of the season they didn't care. Although they were tired, I could accept that, but it looked like they just didn't care. And so Solskjaer has to almost commandeer the troops, as it were, to actually be able to fight for the badge at the very start of this season, to go hard, because it's going to be will be completely unacceptable for United fans to just watch a team that is pedestrian, that is slow, and that ultimately doesn't care. And ultimately, that will be a reflection on the manager. So we I accept that he's inexperienced, and we need to give him time to grow into the job. Um, but again, depending on results, depending on how we are, depending on all these different factors, um, it might not necessarily. I'm just putting this out here. It might not necessarily end well. I wanted to. I really do, as a Manchester United fan, as someone who loves Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and was very happy to have him announced, because I thought, you know what, let's try something different. We tried established managers who have come and trying to implement their philosophy on United Football Club. Let's try something different. Let's have one of our own who knows our philosophy, who knows how we want to play, who loves the fans. Let's have him lead the way. That is good. That is good. And if it works out, then we could have our own Zidane. We can have our own Pep. I really want that to be the case. Um, but we also need to be realistic of the fact that that might not happen. Look at your Di Matteos, for example, your Tim Sherwoods. It might not happen, and we have to be prepared for that. The only thing I would say, though, is that if that is the case, you know, hopefully, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer performs well, and we don't have this conversation. But there is a question to be had that if it doesn't work out, and Solskjaer unfortunately has to resign or get sacked, then who actually comes in? Because I don't know many top quality. I mean, Allegri, but I don't think people. I don't sense that people like wanting Allegri with the start of football, etc. So, what top manager do you bring in? Maybe Poch, if you can see him with Tottenham, possibly, maybe that option's still there. But aside from that, there are not a lot of top managers available, as evidenced by the fact that Chelsea themselves are taking a risk at making Frank Lampard their new manager. You know, so this is it's interesting. It's interesting. I think we're actually getting into a time in football where, because of the sacking culture that has happened over the last few decades, there aren't top quality proven managers available anymore. And so football clubs, either they have to make do what they got and stop sacking, or they have to now take risks, risks to find the new Zidane or Pep Guardiola, because there just are not enough to go around, and yet the demand, especially because of how competitive it is so high. So yeah, tell me what you think, guys. I'm curious to see what you guys viewers' opinions. Do you think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is going to be a success at Manchester United? How long do you think we should give him? What do you think our realistic aim or target should be for the up and coming season? And yeah, just do you think he's even been backed? Which is again very important. So yeah, I'm glad we can have these discussions. I really like making these videos, and really like want to just sort of just essentially vent my feelings about the matter. I want to reiterate again before I get any hate or whatever. This is not an Ollie out video. I really, really, really want Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to succeed at Manchester United. I really do. It would be great if he could. He's won the Champions League, for example, as a player. It would be great to him to win it as a manager. Be awesome. But at the same time, we've got to be realistic. We can't just hide or run away from struggles or flaws, etc., that aren't being addressed. And if he continues to make and more importantly not learn from his mistakes, then he could be in a spot of bother. And hopefully, with backing the signings, and with support from feelings and what have you, hopefully he won't be in that position, and hopefully Manchester United will have a very, very, very good season. Okay, guys, thank you for listening. Have a good day, and I'll be releasing another video confirming what's already been confirmed, that Wan-Bissaka officially being unveiled by Manchester United. He is now a Manchester United player. Yes. Take care, guys, and cheers.